What's up, far, far away family? Welcome back to Lightsaber Radio, the most outrageous Star Wars show on the web. And we got one hell of a topic to go over today because there's a lot of information back and forth on this topic. And we're going to put Star Wars against Lord of the Rings. And we're talking about the entire saga, both sagas. From starting to finish, everything that's involved in it, and some of the fucking speculation, some of the things that we found out about the differences, the similarities, and then we're gonna put them up against each other. Which this is a Star Wars podcast, so you guys already know who's gonna win. But, and I'm just putting that out there because if you didn't know that, then you was kind of an idiot.
Bet, dude. Hold on. I know this is a Star Wars podcast, but like. It's a debate. It's a pretty good debate.
It is a good debate because I like both of them, but I like Star Wars better. So you know what I'm saying. But there's some information that we found out that might sway, not my opinion because I don't give a shit, but might sway some other people's opinions. But before we get to all that, let's drop that intro video.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Feeling about this. You are now in Lightsaber Radio. If you only knew the power of God's.
Here it comes.
Let's go. You are now tuned into Lightsaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Okay, so this is a very controversial topic because I was on Reddit and I was just going through and looking at some of the stuff on Reddit, and there's a very high argument about this.
Bro,
about which one is
people will argue about anything on Reddit.
Yeah, but it's a I mean, there was some hateful shit being said, you know what I'm saying? I was like, God damn, fuck, y'all fans are taking this shit too damn seriously. It's 2 TV shows, 2 movies, or sagas. But there's a lot of stuff. So I've compiled and Garrison has compiled some of the information that is about this. And one of the biggest things is, did George Lucas steal the idea for Star Wars from J.R.R. Tolkien? Because the original Hobbit book was wrote in 1937. It was critically acclaimed. It was mostly, like back in the day, like all schools used to fucking go through it. It was like one of the book reports that you had to do in school. It was like a world-renowned acclaimed book, the original Hobbit. And then there's some controversy about, at one point in time, that George Lucas tried to buy the rights to The Hobbit because he wanted to do The Hobbit. And then a lot of people said that Star Wars and Willow was a basis of Lord of the Rings. But there's too many, there's too many differences. Now, Willow could be part of the Lord of the Rings. There ain't no fucking question about that. That's just like the same shit. It's wizards and fucking midgets and, heightened deficient people and, stuff like that. So there's a whole lot to get into in this topic. And I did a bunch of research. I know Garrison did a bunch of research, and we're gonna break down some of the things that we found out. And then we're gonna put these two together, like if you put the sagas together, everything together, which one is better? So that's what we're going to be discussing today. But first, we got to get to the Housebreaker, which is our form of icebreaker, get our outrageous juices flowing. And Garrison's going to ask us a crazy question. So let's get to that.
All right. So because we're talking about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, which world would you rather go to? You don't get to choose to become a Jedi. You don't get to choose to become a wizard. You're just randomly plopped into a planet or species in either Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. Which one would you rather take your chances on?
Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what I said. Addison's like diehard Lord of the Rings. She keeps saying, "I want to go to Lord of the Rings." I'm like, bro, chances are you're gonna be a fucking like fucking.
What the
little
hell is them
hobbit.
gremlin fucking people called? The fucking orcs?
You're gonna be a fucking orc, bro.
Fuck that. I'd rather be.
Statistically speaking, you're more likely to be an orc than anything else.
Yeah, because there's a lot more of them than there is of everybody else. I'd pick Star Wars because Star Wars is just you got so much more options. You stuck in Middle Earth if you're in fucking Lord of the Rings. You're one little area. Fuck that. In Star Wars, you could come back as a Hutt. You could be a fucking bounty hunter. You could be a Twi'lek core. There's all kind of different things you could pop up as in Star Wars. Dope ass planet you could pop up on. You could be a slave, but that would kind of suck. But you know what I'm saying?
So that alone, Star
But
Wars.
there's just way more. There's way more options.
Lord of the Rings.
Hell yeah.
You wouldn't want to live in Lord of the Rings. That should tell you Lord of the Rings is pretty shitty. I'm just kidding.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love Lord of the Rings. It's a great fucking saga. It's very entertaining to watch.
It's great. It is great.
It's fucking great, but it's not Star Wars great, in my opinion. Star Wars gives you okay. Before we get into that, we'll do that towards the end of the show because that's when we go better to better. Let's break down some of the information. So, like a lot of people don't know that the original Hobbit animation series came out in 1977, the same year as Star Wars did. Now that's like comparing apples and oranges. You know what I'm saying? It's two totally different things because one was an animated series based on a book that was wrote in 1937, and one was a movie that basically changed the way movies are made and basically promoted so many different other stories to come out, and basically we would not have the movies today if it wasn't for George Lucas and Star Wars. I mean, the whole creation of movies was changed by the creation of Star Wars. So we wouldn't even have fucking Lord of the Rings at all if it wasn't for George Lucas bringing out, because it wouldn't be the type of animation ILM, which George Lucas owned at the time, would not have created the imagery, the special effects and stuff that we get to watch in things like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit and stuff like that. That stuff wasn't able to be created. You didn't have CGI. You know what I'm saying? CGI came from George Lucas. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way that it is. So when you compare these things, it's very hard because it's two different times. Now, if you took like the original Lord of the Rings, the first episode, and dropped it exactly the same time as Star Wars, you know what I'm saying? Now that's the same time they was using the technology. They had to create it. You got a totally different story in Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's a lot of the stuff that we seen in Lord of the Rings wouldn't have happened because there wouldn't have been CGI then. They didn't have CGI then. They didn't have the stuff that because of Star Wars was created. They didn't have none of that shit. George Lucas was the one that pushed for computer animation. You know what I'm saying? Computer generated things. He's the one that pushed that to be created. He loved doing things on a computer. He wanted to be able to make things, you know what I'm saying, stuff that nobody else was making. So if you put that back in the same, not saying that because I mean we had like Conan that was done with not CGI and a lot of different stuff that was done and that type of barbaric type of entertainment that was done, but it didn't look like Star Wars. It didn't have the same effect that it does, and it might have had the same story, but the visuals would not have been the same, and that would definitely drop Lord of the Rings, how good it was, down very low. Now, Lord of the Rings had a great story, but does it compete with Star Wars' story? They're almost basically the same. You got some fucking royal fucking guy, rural farm boy type person, Luke Skywalker, whatever the fucking little habit. You got the same fucking guy.
Not the same story. They're pretty different.
I mean, it's the same thing. You got a royal farm boy. You got some wizard that comes fucking. You got Obi-Wan Kenobi and some wizard finds him.
Not a royal farm boy. Frodo was a little guy living in this countryside. Gets everything.
It was still a royal farm boy. He was fucking the same shit.
Everybody back then's a rural farm boy.
Some wizard shows up and finds him. You know what I'm saying? They go off on an
No, no.
adventure.
Luke finds the wizard.
Go off on an adventure. You know what I'm saying? To go destroy some evil power that's coming into fucking this trying to fuck over everybody. Same story. Yeah, it's the same fucking story.
Right, then every story is the same story. It's just good.
Well,
versus
basically, that's the plot of a fucking the hero's journey story. You know, every hero's journey story. That's what it is. But that's a little bit really common. Now, it gets a little bit different because the
Hold on, I want to address Chris's. He's like, just imagine how long travel would be in Lord of the Rings compared to Star Wars. You go on a quest, you hop on a speeder. In Lord of the Rings, you hop on your horse and you get there in a few weeks, or you hop on one of those flying eagles and get there in a couple minutes. So
yeah, but you got to be the wizard dude that can talk to the eagles. If you just a normal motherfucker that ain't got
I know. I'm just
What's going on, everybody? We ain't even say what's up. What's up, Star Wars team leader, Bodie Collections. Chris is in the chat. Dr. Skywalker 716 is in the chat. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Now, I know this is a very controversial topic. I know it is because I'm a person that I like both of the sagas. I do. I like them. I enjoy watching Lord of the Rings. But if somebody said, what would you rather watch, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars? I'm going to pick Star Wars every single time. And this is why. Okay, let me explain to you why. First off, I grew up with Star Wars. I've been watching Star Wars my whole life. Lord of the Rings just came out, which kind of makes Lord of the Rings more intriguing because it's new. You know what I'm saying? It's new and it's good. But at the same time, Lord of the Rings don't take me into that it doesn't make my imagination go to another whole place. I can't imagine myself being in Lord of the Rings. Because first off, I'm going to fucking go hide. Why the hell? They do a gabillion fucking orcs is coming after. I'm going to hide. Fuck that. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm not. Star Wars. Nah, man. I can imagine myself being a Jedi. I can't imagine myself being a knight and fighting a million orcs by myself. Fuck that. Hell no. You're going to die. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that shit. I could be a Jedi in Star Wars. I can't imagine myself being in Lord of the Rings. I can't. But I like both of them. Now, when you go back to 1977, when I was born in 1977, so just say like 81, I was 4 or 5. I'd have probably said I was more intrigued by The Hobbit. It was a cartoon. I was young. The cartoon was great. You had fucking Gollum in it. You had, a ring that you could put on and disappear. I used to put a blanket over my head and just walk around and shit and be like, oh, I'm fucking Bilbo Baggins and you can't see me and everybody could see me and shit. I did that shit, but I was a kid. But I also love Star Wars because Star Wars had lightsabers. No kid, Star Wars was better. It had lightsabers.
Lightsabers, yeah.
Lightsabers are the shit. So that's the thing. Now the controversy on whether or not George Lucas took ideas from fucking The Hobbit. Why does that even matter?
To me, it wasn't like he might have gotten inspiration, but there wasn't enough of like copying for it to be like
it wasn't like fucking Harry Potter, which is exactly the same fucking story. It's exactly the same.
Like bits of inspiration, but that's just what kind of literature is. Like you're meant to draw from things around you.
Well, I mean, and George Lucas said it. He took from samurais. He took from ancient lore. He took from the Bible. He took from all these different things when he created Star Wars. So if he used something from a fucking book that was world renowned and acclaimed, if he took inspiration from that, that's not a bad thing. We take inspiration from everything. I see something that I like and I take inspiration from that. Now I might not do it exactly the same, but I'll do it similar. You know what I'm saying? That's just part of life. You gotta think, the first cell phone came out, looked like a brick with a wire on the end of it. You could probably knock somebody out. I guarantee you could knock somebody out with one of them original cell phones. You know what I'm saying? But inspiration from that original cell phone created the cell phones that we have today. It was inspiration from that. Oh, we can do this. Let's make it smaller. Let's make it better. Let's put a fucking computer in that bitch. That's everything that we have done. Look at guns. Back in the day, we had fucking guns that you had to put powder in the end of it and pack down a fucking thing to a point. That was the original gun. Every gun has been inspired from that gun. That's just the way things is. So I don't get the whole George Lucas story. It's not the same story. I mean, it has the same parts in it. It's the hero's journey. That's how a hero's journey starts out. You got somebody that's a nobody. Look at Spider-Man. This fucking Peter Parker, he ain't nobody. Gets bit by a fucking spider, turns into a superhero, goes against the fucking evil, wins. That's the hero's journey. They're all the same when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Every hero's journey story comes from that. That's what a hero's journey is. When you write a hero journey, you start off with a fucking guy that ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And you make him into the hero. That's just the way it goes. So
I think they're different enough where it's like it's not a copy. You know what I mean?
if anything, if you looked at the new Lord of the Rings movie and put it against Star Wars, the new Lord of the Rings movie, which was not ever written. Was not ever written, or the Lord of, they got a TV show. I watched it. It was all right, but it's kind of like
which Lord of the Rings movie are you talking about? The new one, The Hobbit?
No, not the Hobbit. The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
You just said it was like new, and I was like, that's not really new.
Well, that's the newest one. You know, I mean, that's the new Lord of the Rings compared to the 1977 Hobbit animation series.
Okay, fair.
You know what I'm saying? So you get the new Lord of the Rings. And you put it against Star Wars, you could say, and that was written by somebody because J.R.R. Tolkien has been dead for years. So whoever wrote that story, you could say that they wrote that off of Star Wars. They was influenced by Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not written by the original writer of The Hobbit. You know what I'm saying? That didn't have Bilbo Baggins, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, they had him in there, but he was old as shit and you know what I'm saying, whatever. It was about Frodo Baggins. It was a whole new story, but it's the same process is there. So in a way you look at it, everything, I think, to me, honestly, everything that has came out that has to do with the hero's journey has been inspired by things all the way back from the Bible or from ancient Sumeria. It's been inspired by that. So to sit back and say that George Lucas stole the idea is freaking crazy. It's the hero's journey. Or to say that Lord of the Rings was stolen from Star Wars. Now the controversy is, did George Lucas try to buy the rights to The Hobbit in order to make Lord of the Rings? Now I searched far and wide on the internet, and there's a lot of people that say yes, there's a lot of people that said no. At one point he did try to buy the rights to that. To The Hobbit, not to the Lord of the Rings and all. He tried to buy the rights to The Hobbit, to the J.R.R. because he wanted to make that movie. He wanted to make the Hobbit movie, but it didn't. It fell through, so he didn't do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't have anything to do with the premise of these two. I would say sagas that changed the world. Now, why did they do Lord of the Rings, which is technically like the original trilogy, and then they went back and did The Hobbit, like the prequel trilogy? Why did they follow that format? Well, if you're smart, you follow that format because it fucking works. You know what I'm saying? It fucking works. It worked for George Lucas. Shit, he made billions. Let's do this because it's smart. You know what I'm saying? But is that copying, or is that just saying, hey, that's some smart shit, let me do that shit because I want to make money off of my product? You know, that's where all these controversies are coming into. Now,
did Harry Potter copy Star Wars? Yes.
Yes, Harry Potter is definitely a copy of Star Wars. It's the exact same thing. They just made it a lot longer.
And worse. I'm just kidding.
Hey, I like Harry Potter. I'm not gonna sit back and I liked it enough that I watched it one time.
That would be a whole other episode. But Harry
I liked
Potter,
it enough that I watched all like fucking 10 of them fuckers one time with my kids, and I was like, all right, it's good. It's Star Wars. Let's go. I'm watching something else. It was good enough to watch one time. Wasn't good enough to ever watch again. I'll never watch that shit again. I'll watch Lord of the Rings again. That the Lord of the Rings is the shit.
All right. Now let's get into which is the better saga. Lord of the Rings is fucking fantastic. Now, I didn't like The Hobbit quite as much, but the first three Lord of the Rings, those were pretty fucking good, dude.
Yeah, but they were.
I'd argue that's a perfect trilogy.
Nah, fuck no.
Bro,
I'd argue that Star Wars is a perfect trilogy.
Bro, I don't know. Because even we've said, all right, fucking, like the first, A New Hope, it gets kind of boring, right? We've even said that. We've said in episode 6, we don't like the Ewoks, they're kind of dumb. And then in the prequel trilogy, Jar Jar in episode 1, the dialogue.
Yeah, but you
in
had
episode
dumb
2,
people in fucking Lord of the Rings too. Fucking Sam was that dude was annoying.
He was annoying as fuck. He was
Sam
very
was fucking annoying.
But that trilogy is pretty damn near perfect.
I would say the prequel trilogy is fucking perfect. I'd say, yeah, the fucking prequel trilogy is the most fucking best thing ever created in the history of time. No, I can't say that. But I can't say that about Lord of the Rings neither, because there was some shit I was like, dude, that's impossible. You see how many fucking orcs is coming? There's like 50 of y'all. Ain't no way y'all whooping all these goddamn orcs. Y'all will die. There's like 1 billion of them motherfuckers, and there's like 100 of y'all. You're gonna die. There's no fucking way in hell.
What the fuck? We literally just watched Ahsoka and 2 like subpar Jedi hold off an army of zombie stormtroopers.
Yeah, but
you didn't complain
they're
about
zombies,
that.
man. Zombies can't even fucking think.
My
You
God.
know what I'm
They're
saying?
shooting at you.
And you got the Force and lightsabers. They didn't even have fucking Gandalf didn't show up for like 3 hours. They was fighting for it. They had all been dead before Gandalf even got there.
Bro, think about it. You got
Oh,
Legolas,
fuck that.
who's like
Hell no.
600 years old.
I'm taking your Star Wars card.
You got
You're getting your
Aragorn,
Star Wars card
or
revoked.
Aragorn, whatever the fuck his name is, who's like, what is he, like 80, 100? He's been training for forever. Like, come on. You gotta give it to these
Aw,
guys.
man, fuck that shit. And then you got fucking little midgets fucking fighting orcs and winning. Shut the fuck up. That motherfucker will kill you.
They're a little annoying. That's right.
They'll fucking kill you.
But what I will say is Lord of the Rings didn't sell out.
No, they
can't
didn't
argue
sell
that.
out. They didn't
Lord of the
sell
Rings
out.
did not
But
sell
hey,
out.
George, hey,
Star
you gotta
Wars sold
understand.
out.
George sold out for a very good reason. He wanted to spend time with his fucking
Bro,
family.
I'm not
Family is
even
more
mad.
important than
No, no, no.
fucking Star Wars.
I'm not mad at George for selling out. Like, because Lord of the Rings, well, actually, I guess you could argue Lord of the Rings sold out because you got the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon.
Yeah, and that show wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? I watched it. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't great
It wasn't
neither, but it
great.
wasn't that
It
bad.
wasn't great. But
it wasn't
I'd
that bad.
say Lord of the Rings hasn't been as tarnished as Star Wars has.
Star Wars team leader said, "Listen to Lord of the Rings on audio is better than the movie.
Oh,
Everything in
obviously
a book,
is going to be better. What the fuck?
everything in book form is better. Like if you go back and you listen to the audio dramatization of fucking Star Wars, like the original trilogy, it's way better than the movie. It's fucking way better. Like 'cause you get more detail. They can get more into detail when it's written down and somebody's reading it. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes audiobooks so great, man. And then audiobooks allow you to imagine what's happening. That's why I love audiobooks. When people try to talk shit about audiobooks, audiobooks suck. Man, you're fucking nuts. Audiobooks are the shit. Fuck, I wish they had Hobbits are just Jawas, but lazier. That's a good one. There's just, I don't know, there's just like, there's very good. I mean, I like the idea of, because you got to think about it. The way they were fighting in fucking Lord of the Rings is like how people used to fight back in the days. 2 big ass armies would just rush at each other with swords and just fucking try to fucking hack each other up. And whoever won. Whoever, like, dude, and then, you know, we did that shit all the way up to the Civil War. We just stand in front of each other and shoot at each other and just hope you don't get shot. That's how war was fought. So it's like, I think the more historical, like, factors of how things could have been done during that time period in Middle Earth is more like historical, but it doesn't give you the same feeling as watching Star Wars. Like Star Wars comes on, like even when you're watching it, you can imagine yourself being there in Star Wars. I can't imagine myself being in Lord of the Rings, even though that's just more possible than Star Wars at this point in time, because you know we haven't got past the moon yet. But you know what I'm saying. And that's how wars was fought back in the days. You know, you just get armies just fighting each other. But like, I just can't imagine myself being there. Like, dude, this is like, I don't know. I don't get the same feeling. See, I base everything on what type of feeling it gives me. If I watch a movie and it gives me a feeling, then it's gonna give me, and not to say the Lord of the Rings didn't give me no feelings or anything like that, because it was exciting. It was a great movie. It had good dialogue. It had a lot of, I mean, shit, it was fucking good, but it just didn't give me that feeling. I didn't like. I think there's very few movies that has ever given me the feeling that Star Wars gives me. And I'll even say that about the sequel trilogy. I even got fun because it was Star Wars. It gave you a fucking feeling. Like, I wasn't excited to go oh my God, the new fucking Lord of the Rings Part 2 is coming. I gotta go watch it. Fuck no. Star Wars comes out, I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm going to the movies to see that shit. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm going. But I didn't get that same feeling with Lord of the Rings. I wanted to see it. I was like, oh, damn, Lord of the Rings is coming out. I want to go see that. You know, The Hobbit's coming out. I want to see that. Honestly, I didn't even go to the movies to see The Hobbit. I watched all 3 of The Hobbits at home. I waited for them to come out on disc. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, because, I mean, one of the reasons I think The Hobbit didn't do as good, because we already got the whole story of The Hobbit, basically. You know what I'm saying? In the fucking cartoon, we got the story. We know what happens. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't too enthralled in fucking seeing The Hobbit.
I just didn't think The Hobbit was as well done. I thought the original Lord of the Rings was better, kind of kept like the same tone.
It had a good pace.
Attitude, and same
The pacing on it was
Hobbit,
phenomenal.
The Hobbit was just kind of like everything that I liked about Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit just kind of went a different direction on it. Hobbit
was done by different
they didn't
people.
take anything seriously. Everything was a lot more funny, a lot less believable, a lot more like lighthearted. And I think one of the things that made Lord of the Rings so good is they were able to consistently keep the same tone while also making it fun and also keeping the pacing right. Like The Hobbit just was a little bit messier, I feel like.
I'm not gonna sit back and say. I mean, we can say the same thing about fucking, the sequel trilogy. You know what I'm saying? That's I kind of referenced
I know, and that's
the
what
Hobbit
that's what
and
I
the
mean.
sequel
So like,
trilogy was like in the same basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? I don't even
that's
care
why-
about this.
That's why I'm saying like Lord of the Rings didn't get as tarnished as Star Wars did.
Well, you got to understand. See, one of the reasons, and this is a crazy thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you have original trilogy fans, then you have prequel fans, then you have sequel fans, and they're all fighting against which one is better. You know what I'm saying? And it like when the prequels came out, fucking nobody liked the prequels. Prequels was the worst fucking movies ever made. George fucked up. Blah blah. You heard it. You heard every fucking thing. All kind of bad shit about the about the prequel trilogy.
Right.
And then when the sequels came out, all them people that was hating the fucking prequel trilogy really hated the sequel trilogy, so they started liking the prequel trilogy. So then it was just George versus Disney. And that's kind of how it went. And which is okay, you're allowed to change your mind. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can change their mind. You might not like something when you was fucking 15 and you're 38 and you're like, this is a fucking good movie. You know what I'm saying? You have a different mindset, 23 years later, you know what I'm saying? That's just what you got a different attitude. You're allowed to change your opinions. You're allowed to like something and then dislike something, and then you might like it and dislike it, and now you like it again, or you're allowed to do that. That's what makes us human. We're allowed to change our minds. Or we're allowed to find things that I don't know about Book of Boba Fett. I don't think I ever like that, but but that's the thing.
That's what I mean. Like there wasn't as much bad spin-off shows about it. Disney didn't buy it out and Disney's not milking it and just fucking wringing out every little drop of
I got a question for everybody.
It up.
I got a question for everybody. It's for everybody in the chat too. Does everybody think, and this is just my honest opinion, because I was looking at some of the merchandise that's coming out, new action Black Series figures and Legos and shit like that for Star Wars. Now, I know we have a lot more, but is Disney just like raping the fucking consumer with merchandise? That shit is fucking expensive as shit. $200 for a Lego set? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, Jesus Christ, man. I was looking at some of that shit like, holy fuck, man, there's just thousands of fucking dollars for a fucking Lego set. The fuck is wrong with y'all, Disney? Like, what the fuck? And I don't know if it's Disney, if Disney owns Lego, or if it's just Lego and just Hasbro, or what they charge to use the fucking shit, you know what I'm saying? Because I know Disney's getting some money out of that shit somehow. But it's like I just don't get it. Like, why is this shit so fucking expensive, man? Like,
great.
damn, that shit is expensive as shit. Like, holy crap. Like, you damn near got to be a rich to be a fucking collector in Star Wars. Like, I remember people used to, people still do, they collect Star Wars, but you'd have to, like, spend your whole fucking check to be a fucking collector now. You damn near have to be homeless to collect some Star Wars shit or have a fucking be a millionaire.
Yeah,
Like,
be
damn, this shit
homeless.
is expensive as fuck. You go to Walmart, $30 for an action figure. Target, $30 for an action figure, $40. Like, god damn. That shit is expensive as hell. Like, I'm so happy that I never got that bug. I never got the collector's bug. You know what I'm saying? Where I wanted to collect all the action figures and I wanted to have every action figure, every Lego set and shit like that. Because I would be poor right now. You know what I'm saying? I would be fucking poor. Because that shit is outrageously priced. It blows my mind on how expensive that shit is. Like, dude, what the hell? Like, dude, I remember when I was young, you know, I had some action figures when I was young. You know what I'm saying? You could buy a fucking a Star Wars action figure for like $4.99. You know what I'm saying? Like, now the shit is fucking $50 like for one action figure. Like, is this motherfucker gonna come out and go get a job and, you know what I'm saying, make me some money, pay me back? You know what I'm saying? What is like, Jesus Christ. And then they come out with new action figures like, dude, Rex, there's like 3,000 Rexes. Like, why is there so many different Rexes? Or Ahsokas, or Luke, man, there's so many damn Lukes and Darth Vaders that's fucking, like, Jesus Christ. To be able to collect all them, it would, oh my God. I know that was a little, I just had to go on that rant. Like, cause the Star Wars merchandise is expensive as shit. Cause I was just looking at different stuff because we talked about coming out with the merchandise, you know, recommending merchandise like we did last year, you know, talk about some of the stuff we seen. And I'm like, I don't even want to recommend anything to anybody because the shit is too damn expensive for anybody. Like, dude, you got to be a fucking millionaire to buy some of this shit. Like, I'm not spending $500 on a fucking action figure. Like, fuck you. Like, that's rent, man. That's a car note. You know what I'm saying? You go buy a brand new gun with that. You know what I'm saying? There's so much other stuff you can get with $500. Then a couple action figures. It's like, dude, I don't even want to recommend nothing to nobody because the shit costs too much. And then, I don't know. I watch some of these other podcasts and they recommend stuff to people. And it's like, dude, man, like, you're almost endorsing that shit. Like, oh yeah, go get this, the new fucking Black Series action figure at $40. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you're fucking, like you're pretty much telling people to go be broke and spend all their money on that shit. Like, dude, that shit is expensive. Like, that shit just bothers me.
Dude, that's why I never really got into buying all that shit. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to justify it because like it's just gonna sit on my shelf and it looks cool, but like with how much they're charging, it's just not worth it to me.
I mean, I know that the stuff appreciates with value, but how much stuff that people got that's actually worth less than what it was when they originally purchased it? Because stuff does go down. Not everything becomes a super collector's item. It's not like a rocket firing big Boba Fett that's worth, you know, $50,000 or a freaking, you know what I'm saying, the very first X-Wing Lego set that's worth $100,000 or some crazy shit like that. Like, you gotta like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I just feel that there's so much other stuff that you could spend your money on. And I know that's just my opinion, you know, and I don't put down nobody for collecting anything. If you want to collect Star Wars stuff, go in, all for it. But I'm just like, I just swear that I think these companies are just like charging way too much for this shit, like way too much. And it's just, it's heartbreaking. Like, you should be able to, the average person should be able to afford to buy these things. Like, you get $40, man. That's like a third of your light bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just way too much. Like, when Star Wars Team Level said helmets are $145 to $1,000, like, that is outrageous. And I want a helmet. You know what I'm saying? I want a helmet. But
for that price, like
dude, that shit's just expensive. Like, I was mad at myself. I spent $300 on a lightsaber. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, man, why did I do that? But, you know, it was already done. It was already here. I was like, shit. But I wanted a lightsaber, and I wanted a certain one. But it just, you know, that shit's just way too damn expensive, man. Like, the average person can't afford that shit, especially the way the world's going now, man. Shit, fucking inflation and everything, man. Damn. it's just shit is too damn expensive. It hurts my feelings when I see that shit. It like really does. Like, because man, the Star Wars consumer, the Star Wars fan, should be able to afford to go out and buy merchandise. They should be able to afford to be able to do that shit. You want $20 for a Star Wars coffee cup? Like, Jesus Christ, it's a coffee cup. It cost you 80 cents to make the shit. Like, why do you need to make that much profit? It breaks my heart, man, because I think Star Wars fans deserve better than that. Like, okay, we already got to pay to go see the movie. Then once we get to go see the movie, of course we're going to buy the movie because now we want to own the movie. You know what I'm saying? So now we bought the movie so we can watch it anytime we want. Then, you know what I'm saying, we want to buy the merchandise. By the time we're done, we done spent $20,000 just per episode. That's a lot of damn money. And it's like, does Disney and does, Lego and all them really need to make that much money? Do they really need to make that big of a profit margin on every product? Like, you don't need to do that. Like, I guarantee, it's like that old saying, why do people drive, like, you'll have gas by your house, and it'll be $2.98. And the gas station clear across the town will have it at $2.95. You will drive all the way over there to get gas, even though you done just burnt up your 3 cents of savings per gallon to get over there to get the cheaper gas. Why don't these companies understand you can mark down the price to a cheaper value? People will still buy yourself. You're going to sell more product. You know what I'm saying? You're going to sell more product if it's cheaper.
They don't care.
They don't care. They'd rather that one person buy it and they make 50 cents than 100 people buy it and they make $500. They don't look at it like that. But it breaks my heart. It sucks that it costs that much. Okay, back to Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry about that rant. Back to Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, because I don't know how to get that out. It's been on my mind all week.
Because there's been a lot of debate over the recent Star Wars TV shows, right? Some people liked Ahsoka, some people didn't. Some people liked the last season of Mando, some people didn't. Sequels, some people liked the sequels, a lot of people didn't. I feel like Lord of the Rings has more of a consistent consensus where it's like, yeah, the TV show was a little bit more on the fence, but as far as the movies are, everybody liked the movies, and there hasn't been so much dilution. I think everyone can agree that Disney hasn't produced the greatest stuff. There's been some good stuff, but overall it's been rocky at best. Okay, Lord of the Rings has at least been consistent, always been good. You can usually expect from Lord of the Rings it's going to be a good show.
Well,
and that could just be from having way less content.
And you got to understand, compared to Star Wars fans, Lord of the Rings has a big following, but it's nowhere compared to Star Wars.
I think it's different. I think Star Wars is more this is a heavily marketed fandom where let's just pump money out of them. Let's just pump out as much.
Well, it's not just that. It's not just that, because before Disney had Star Wars, I feel
like it's still treated as art. It's still treated as we want to make quality entertainment. Rather, Star Wars, we're just trying to milk money from these people.
Well, because you got to look at there was the Star Wars came out and had a giant fandom, and then as the years went on, they got a bigger fandom and bigger and bigger and bigger. Lord of the Rings, it probably grows, but nowhere in the consistency this Star Wars does. I mean, shit, Star Wars is freaking huge over in Japan and China. It's freaking huge over there. I don't think Lord of the Rings has that type of pool. You would probably look, there's probably 10 Star Wars fans to maybe every one of the Lord of the Rings fans. And I don't know the exact statistics. I didn't look up the statistics, but I'm just saying from how many, I think the last survey said there was something like almost 1 billion Star Wars fans, which is pretty, I would say, we're pretty right on, because Star Wars is so huge in China and they got 4 billion people over there or some crazy shit. So when you look at it, there's there's, you know, I think there's going to be a lot more disagreements and stuff when it comes to Star Wars anyway, because there's just so many more fans with a lot more of opinions. When you have a follower, and then, I mean, it's just, I think it's different. I don't really think that you can compare the two because they're just way too different in size. So when you have a difference in size, you have a difference in opinion, you know.
Right.
And then you got Lord of the Rings, and you don't, one thing I can give it to, you don't really see Lord of the Rings fans and people that are really into the Hobbit fighting with one another like that, you know what I'm saying? They're not like fucking two different entities like there is with, you know, the three segments of Star Wars. Because you got original fans, the original series fans, and then you got the prequel trilogy fans and the sequel trilogy fans, and they're very stuck in their fan base. But I guarantee when it all comes down to it, most Star Wars fans, if you're a true Star Wars fans, we can come together. I think that that's something that you'll probably get more of with Lord of the Rings, just because, and the Hobbit fans, they're going to come together. But I think Star Wars fans, if it came down to it, it was like Disney was going to cancel Star Wars and never make Star Wars again. I think all the fans would fucking come rally together. No matter which stuff you liked and didn't like, we'd all be on the same team real quick to be like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do it. Sell the shit. If you ain't going to make no more of that shit, sell the shit. Don't just fucking stop making the shit and be like, no, we're not making that no more. I think we would come together. It'd be an outroar that would be freaking huge in the Star Wars community. And you see the TV show, like, you got to think about it. It was on Amazon. If you didn't have Amazon Prime, you couldn't watch it. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of people don't even know that there was a fucking Lord of the Rings TV show. And it didn't do that well because it didn't come out with a second season, which that could just be, you know what I'm saying, whatever the scenario may be. There's a lot of different things that could get to apply to that. But I'm just going to say, because to me it wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't.
It was all right. It wasn't great.
It wasn't great. It was all right, though. It was entertaining. You know what I'm saying?
But it was better than, like, I'd probably say it was better than Obi-Wan or Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, but fucking dirt is better than them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
But then you have
Like, I
Andor,
feel like-
you have Mandalorian, you have, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
Ahsoka, they are way better than, I say it's probably on the same level as Ahsoka.
I feel like, though,
It has
like,
some
when
very
you
good
say-
episodes, and it has some episodes that weren't so good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I feel like when you say, like, hey, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I didn't like the sequels. In Lord of the Rings, you just say, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. You don't got to say, but I didn't like this. In Star Wars, you got to be like, you got to clarify, oh, but this was bad and this wasn't that good. But I like this.
But see, that's not, I mean, there's things, I don't ever do that. When somebody asks me if I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm just a Star Wars fan. You know what I'm saying? When somebody comes up to me and says, oh, I heard you was a Star Wars fan. Yep. What did you like the best? I'm going to say I like the prequels the best. I'm not going to put down any other Star Wars unless somebody asks me. If somebody asked me, like, truly asked me, like, is there parts of Star Wars you didn't like? Yeah, I didn't like Book of Boba Fett, and I didn't like the Kenobi series. But
when it comes to Lord
that
of the
doesn't
Rings,
that
it's
doesn't
like,
have anything
it's
to do
all
with
gonna
it.
be good.
But
All of it's going to be good.
in general, there's nothing that's all good. We've already discussed that plenty of times. There's nothing that's ever a 10.
Right.
There's nothing out there that's a 10. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have stuff that isn't good. And you got to understand, too, and I look at it like this. With Disney is letting a lot of different people write. They're letting a lot of different, and it's keeping people employed, which is a good thing. They're letting writers write. They're letting different directors direct. And not everybody has the same aspect of, you know what I'm saying, Star Wars. You know, not everybody looks at it the same. You know,
I love
the
how
original
that-
trilogy and the
it's a good
prequel
thing they're
trilogy,
keeping people employed. Oh,
it is a good thing. It's a good thing that
I
they're
know it's a
keeping
good
people
thing, but
employed.
It's just funny. Like,
But
I want a good show. I don't really care if a guy gets fired.
and you got to understand, that's what one of the things about having a lot of content is you have content that you have enough content that you can sit back and say some people didn't like this. I've heard people that say they couldn't stand the Clone Wars. Like the Clone Wars is fucking, like, there's part of it that I didn't like, and there's parts of it that I did like. I've heard people to say that they love Rebels and that they hate Rebels. Like, I think they're all crazy. But you know what I'm saying? Because Rebels is fucking great. But that's my opinion. There's enough content that you have content that you can like and dislike within Star Wars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's enough content there that you can fucking like it or dislike some of it. Like now, if it was fucking 30 years ago when the only thing you had was an original trilogy, and you sat back and said that I don't like Star Wars, you were fucking nuts. There was something wrong with you. You needed to go get mental help, you know, because Star Wars was great. But now there's enough content that there's content out there that you can say I didn't like this, but I did like this, and still be a fan. You couldn't say I'm a Star Wars fan and then say I didn't like the original trilogy, and all there was the original trilogy. You're not a Star Wars fan then. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, but you call yourself a fan, you're not a fan. Now there's enough content that you can say I'm a Star Wars fan, but I didn't like this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care for this. I wasn't a big fan of the sequel trilogy, or I wasn't a big fan of Book of Boba Fett or Andor or whatever it may be. I didn't like The Mandalorian. Whatever you want to say, because there's enough content out there to say that. Look how much difference in content there is compared to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You got Lord of the Rings, you got The Hobbit, and you got one TV show that had one season. Star Wars, we got 3 trilogies. We got multiple animation shows. We got multiple live action shows. There's enough that you can sit back and say I didn't really care for this. You can say that because there's enough that it doesn't discredit you as being a fan, because it's like I like everything else, I just didn't like this. You know what I'm saying? And it also shows that your individuality, you know what I'm saying, because you might not look like the directing style. It might not even have been the story. It might have been the directing style. It might have been the way somebody did this. You know, we all boast about how good George Lucas was, but the biggest Star Wars film and the most loved Star Wars film wasn't even directed by George Lucas. It was directed by Ron Howard. Everybody loves Empire Strikes Back. It's the #1 Star Wars. When you look at ratings, more people like Empire Strikes Back than anything else. And Empire Strikes Back was directed by Ron Howard. It wasn't even directed by George Lucas. So it's just a different It was written by George Lucas, but look at the directing style of Ron Howard compared to the directing style of George Lucas. The directing style was different, and it drew people in. So you got all these different things that you can like and dislike when you have that much content. And just go, like, how many, like, and I don't know. Y'all might have to help me out with this. Is there any, I've never seen a short film on YouTube about Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
I'm sure there's gotta be.
There's fucking millions of them motherfuckers about fucking Star Wars. Everybody and their mama done made a Star Wars short film. You know what I'm saying? But you look at Lord of the Rings, I guarantee there's nowhere close. So that just shows you the difference between the size of the fandom, you know what I'm saying, compared to Lord of the Rings.
Star Wars probably has a lot more of those like fan-made stuff.
I mean, you don't see new directors come out and say, "Oh, I wanted to get into making movies because I wanted to make a movie like Lord of the Rings." They come out and say, "Star Wars was the influence."
Yeah,
how often do you say Lord of the Rings
Wars,
is an influence?
Star Wars started as like a movie, though. Lord of the Rings was like it was books. You know what I mean? And then it was like a great adaptation.
And by no means am I putting down Lord of the Rings, because I like Lord of the Rings. I'm a fan of the Lord of the Rings, but I'm just a way bigger fan of Star Wars. Star Wars just has way more to offer than Lord of the Rings. Not that Lord of the Rings was bad by no means.
More always a good thing. Like we've even said, like more isn't always a good thing. Because like if a new Star Wars show is coming out, we know we're very familiar at this point where we're like, I don't know if it's going to be good. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, but I would say the same thing about Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings came out, then The Hobbit came out. The Hobbit wasn't as good. Star Wars has a better reputation with more content, of having more good content than Lord of the Rings does.
I think Lord of
the Rings. The TV show Lord of the Rings didn't do very good. The Ring of Fire or whatever it was didn't do very good. The Hobbit didn't do that fucking great. It wasn't that great.
The Hobbit did super well.
The Hobbit wasn't that great. It wasn't as good as Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
you got the original trilogy.
But it did really well.
You got Lord of the Rings, great. You got prequel, great. You got Andor, great. Solo didn't do good, but fucking
Solo, trash.
Solo wasn't trash though. Solo was a good fucking movie.
It was Solo and Obi-Wan, trash. Book of Boba Fett, trash.
Sequel trilogy, trash. Everything else was good.
Mega trash.
Everything else was pretty good.
It
was way fucking like. The last season of Mando was about the equal.
Trash.
Yeah, but they still got more good content than they got bad content.
I agree.
And Lord of the Rings does not. They got
How
good
hard
content,
to
then they
make-
got all right content, and then they have bad content. So overall, Star Wars wins.
No. It was not. Lord of the Rings was amazing content, pretty good content, and then content.
Still, and that's 7
Star
out of
Wars was
fucking
like,
50.
Great. I wanted like mega bad, then okay, a little bit better, then mega bad, then you know what I mean? So it's like
The only two things that
think
was
Star
mega
Wars
bad
is,
in
like,
Star Wars.
way
There's
more
only
up
two
and down.
things that was mega bad in Star Wars, and that was Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Everything else is either
oh bro, the sequels
good
were mega
or great.
bad. Sequels
there's no
were
way-
mega bad.
And what was mega bad?
Sequels.
The sequels ain't even mega bad. They just shouldn't be part of
They're
Star
mega
Wars. They wasn't in the. They're not
At least-
mega bad.
Bro, at least Lord of the Rings like doesn't constantly like disagree with itself.
The sequel trilogies was just weird. It wasn't even that they were bad; they were just weird. They didn't belong within the. They shouldn't have been considered the sequel trilogy. They should have just been another Star Wars thing. Then
Yeah.
it would have been all right. If they would have said the sequel trilogies are, if they would have said this is the new Star Wars, we'd all been okay with it. The fact that they put it in with the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, that's what fucked up the sequel trilogy. Because they're not bad when you
They
watch
fucked
them.
up characters that we already knew. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The stories wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? The overall, the effects was great. Everything was great about it. It's just that you added it to the fucking the saga. It shouldn't have been added to the saga. It should have just been something else. They didn't say Book of Boba Fett is part of the saga. They didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? It was its own thing. So it could be bad. You know
All
what I'm saying?
Is like, yeah, that Lord of the Rings show didn't do too well, but the movies generally, like all the movies.
But I think a lot of the point that the Lord of the Rings didn't do as well because a lot of people didn't have Amazon Prime.
right.
A lot of people didn't know about it. I just happened to find it because I was clicking through Amazon Prime. I was looking for something else. I said, "Oh man, there's a fucking Lord of the Rings thing on here.
They
I gotta
didn't have
watch this."
Disney's marketing budget.
And
But
so of
one
course it
thing I
didn't do
can't-
as good because I didn't think it was that bad. I really didn't think that the Lord of the Rings TV show was that bad. It was decent. It was a decent show. It explained some things.
It wasn't cheesy.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was
cheesy as
very
Star Wars.
action packed. It had good fucking special effects and all that shit. It was good. But at the same time, didn't nobody know about it? It's very fucking hard to promote some shit and you never even seen a commercial on it. Like I said, I would just happen to be flicking through Amazon Prime looking for something else and seen it and watched it. If I would have never been flicking through Amazon Prime and seen it, I would have never even known about it. So it's a big difference when you got something like that coming out on freaking, you know what I'm saying, thing, and then you got fucking Star Wars being promoted at the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference. It's a very big difference.
Not everybody can afford Disney's marketing budget, so
Yeah, I mean, well, it's Disney. It's Disney compared to fucking, you know what I'm saying, Amazon Prime, and which Amazon got a shit ton of money, you know what I'm saying, but they don't. Amazon's more promotion on you buying shit on their platform than they are of you renting a fucking movie or watching a TV series on their thing. They make their money, and then they're smart enough not to change their marketing budget away from what makes them the most money. You buying products on their platform. I mean, why would you promote a TV show that might make you, $100 million and you're making $100 million a minute off of fucking regular Amazon? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? That's not even a competition. Now, if Disney was making more money off of fucking merchandise and fucking, everything else, they wouldn't promote like they do. But they make a shit ton of money off of their
Disney
TV
is a
series.
primarily entertainment company. Which, side note, do you see Disney's Bob Iger's recent announcement about Disney stuff? Oh,
I haven't had time. I haven't had time this week to fucking other than researching this shit right here. The George Lucas and
Yeah, he said they've been focusing too much on messaging and political messages and stuff, and that they need to get back to what they're supposed to be doing, which is just creating good entertainment. So he was
well, I mean
talking about he was talking about some of the Star Wars stuff. He's talking about the Marvels movie. He's talking about a lot of the cartoon Disney stuff, where it's like we've been focusing so much on messaging and like politics. We need to focus on just creating good entertainment.
Yeah, and that's kind of the basis that he came into. We're going to slow
Right.
down. We're going to start focusing more on creating good content and stop all this, this other shit that we are wasting money on. I don't know. The only thing I seen about Disney, and it just popped up on my news break, that they're talking about moving from Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're talking about moving from
Yeah,
Florida.
because them and Ron DeSantis have been button heads.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Fuck when you get away. I mean, and that's another thing that made Disney so big for a long time. They didn't have to pay taxes on none of that shit.
It's pretty
You know
fucking
what I'm saying?
nice.
But, Santos said, fuck that. You guys are going to have to pay. And they were like, we don't want to pay. Fuck you. Nobody will come to Florida if it ain't for us. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit! Everybody will still go to Florida.
So we're going to find out who was right.
I guess so.
If Disney moves, I don't know. That seems like a very fucking expensive fucking endeavor to move a giant ass amusement park and fucking all the stuff to another state. And it's like, what state do you move it to? The only other state that's going to give you that type of benefit would be Texas.
Maybe.
It'd be Texas, because Texas is
Yeah,
like
but I think Texas is getting sick of all the people moving in too.
shit. Everybody from California is moving to Texas. Fuck,
I know.
man, there's so many celebrities.
Everybody from
Fucking,
California is moving to Arizona. We fucking hate it.
fuck, man. Everybody's trying to get away from that fucking death trap.
Bro, you're the one who fucking ruined it. Stop moving here and doing the same shit.
I get, but shit, all the celebrities and shit, because of Joe Rogan and fucking a bunch of the fucking actors all moved to Texas, and now everybody's moving to fucking Texas. They're building a new Hollywood in Texas and shit.
Bro, it's funny because like, have you seen that? There's a meme where it's like, Jack Sparrow is on the ship and it's sinking, and right as it sinks, he steps off onto like the boardwalk,
Yeah.
and it's showing like Californians. It's like Californians who like made California what it is, and then California sinking, and then them stepping onto Texas.
A lot of people's moving to Texas.
Just with all the stuff they did in California, ruin. Now let's go to Texas. So now let's go to Arizona. Like, fuck.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. There's just a lot of different. There's some changes that need to be made within the fundamentals of a lot of these companies. You got to go back to what made you good. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get away from, and I think a lot of it has to do with fucking. You know what I'm saying? They're paying too much attention to social media, what people want, what people say they want, and they're paying too much attention to that shit. And that's not just within Disney, that's just in all these companies. They're just making shit that they think people want to see instead of just making great content and not giving a fuck. George Lucas didn't make Star Wars and say, I care about whether or not people are going to like it or not. He didn't do that shit. He made it he made what he wanted to see, what he wanted it to be, and everybody just loved it. And that's how it works. You look at any great artist, they don't create based on what people's opinions are. They create on their opinion. And then when they get done, if people like it, they do, and if they don't, they don't. And most of the time, if you make an authentic something that you loved and you put your heart into, people like it. That's just the way that it is. I mean, you don't think an author sits down before he writes a book and writes out a fucking checklist of what everybody wants in that book. No, he just writes the book. And then the book is either amazing or it's not. And most of the time, it's amazing. If they put their heart and soul into it and they put, what they want into it, it's just so hard. I just don't know how companies can really get that reflection of we need to sit back and listen to our fans. It's like fans don't know what they want because you got a million fans saying one thing, you got a million fans saying something totally different. It's too hard to create what so many different people's opinions is. It's too hard to create that. Just make something good. And my biggest thing is you have this, especially with Disney, is you have this such giant area to work in with Star Wars. I mean, there's so many different things that you could do within the Star Wars galaxy. There's no reason that you got to keep on trying to make the same thing over and over and over again, trying to make the same type of content. You don't need to do that. Just make some new shit. You see that creating new characters is a great thing. Mandalorian is doing great. I mean, the last season wasn't that great, but, overall, Mandalorian is doing great. that's a brand new character. We were all excited to see this new character and see we got Grogu, and you can bring in other characters that can tie it in. You don't have to make the same shit over and over again. But that's Disney's fucking thing. You can look at every single one of the Disney princess cartoons. They're all exactly the same cartoon, man. I think the only ones that really jumped out the thing was like Shrek. Shrek kind of took a different turn. They kind of did a little bit different, but most of their stories is the same thing. And they all do good. 99% of them do really, really good. They might have a flop here and there, but you know what I'm saying? Most of them do really, really good. Just keep doing what you know that works. Don't fucking change your...
Most is doing really...
Yeah, most of them do really, really good. They come out with new shit. It does really, really good. I like it. And another thing that I think they should get away with, stop trying to fucking be this woke fucking companies. Quit doing that shit, man.
Right, which is what he talked about. That's what he kind of talked about, how like we're doing that too much. And so we need to stop and get away from that. We need to return to what the whole point of our company was.
I don't give a shit what color or what nationality your character is. Are they a good actor and are they going to play the part well? Right. It doesn't matter. No Star Wars fan is sitting back saying, I'm not watching this shit because they fucking did this. We're not saying that. Nobody cares. Like, this 2023, nobody gives a shit about none of that shit no more. Just give me a fucking good actress or actor that can play the part. I don't care what color they are.
Make it a good story.
If you make a good story, none of the rest of that shit matters.
Right.
That's like, and we've been preaching that since the very beginning of this fucking show. Like, since we started the show. Dude, just make good fucking content. I don't give a shit what color. I don't give a, they could be LGBTQ, ABC people. They could be, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I don't care. Just make a good story. As long as the story's good, I don't give a shit who the actor is. As long as the actor is good. Like, I just want to see a good actor that's playing a part. You know what I'm saying? Except if it's Revan. You can't have anybody else but Keanu Reeves. But that's it. But I'm just, you know, like, I don't care about none of that stuff. No, like, no fan. You don't hear fans bitching because fucking Ahsoka was a woman. Fuck, she was a woman in the cartoon.
No shit. Yeah.
You know, don't nobody care.
I'd be pissed if they made her a dude.
Don't nobody care if, you know what I'm saying, if Rosaria Dawson is African American. Don't nobody care. Or whatever she is. Don't nobody give a shit. Did she play the part? You know what I'm saying? We don't care about any of these characters, who's playing the character, as long as they do a good job doing it. That's all we care about. If they do a sucky job, you're going to hear about it. We're going to talk shit. But if they did a great job, don't nobody care.
Oh boy, we'll talk shit.
You know what I'm saying? But if they, you know what I'm saying? And why does it matter if a person is a Mandalorian and we don't even see their face or what color they are? We don't give a shit. We can't even tell who they are. We can't see their face. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Just get a good actor to play the part.
That's a whole other topic with how much Pedro Pascal, because you've heard like a bunch of shows are getting delayed because Pedro Pascal is getting too busy.
Yeah, well, fuck, man, shit, playing them, and which is good. That's something that's good because other than Harrison Ford, if you played a fucking in Star Wars, that was probably the end of your fucking career. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get to do shit.
Do you
Mark Hamill had to do fucking voice acting for like 20 years.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like, do you think they should recast him?
Yeah, fuck him. Shit. Recast his fucking ass. You don't want to be a part of Star Wars no more? You want to fucking be in everything else? Get rid of his fucking ass. Just don't take off his helmet no more. We don't, fuck, how we gonna know? Shit.
Exactly.
You can use AI to do his fucking voice. Like, we don't.
You don't need him actually there to make the character.
Fuck, he was only there for 3 episodes the whole last season. So what does it matter?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Like, I like Pedro Pascal. He's a good actor. But fucking, we don't have to have him. Fuck, the dude never takes his mask off. Who cares?
Exactly.
Just make a good story. I don't give a shit who's acting as Mandalorian. As long as he fucking, the story is good. Shit, it's not like we see his face any damn way. Now, you can't bring out a fucking new Grogu that's blue. You know what I'm saying? That's just not going to make no damn sense. You're going to be like, why the fuck is he blue? You know what I'm saying? That's not going to make no damn sense. But, you know, it's, just have Juan play him. He does most of it anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Don't nobody care. Like, now, I will care if they cast somebody raggedy to play fucking Balin. Because it's going to be hard to match that. You know what I'm saying? If they recast somebody to play Bailey and Ray Stevenson did such a good job, they gonna have to really put in some work to fucking fill them shoes.
Yeah,
and I will be mad if they get a raggedy actor that just fucking don't know what the fuck they're doing and just fucks the character up. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of rumors going around that story is going to be told. And that just we'll have to see. I'm hopeful, but it's rumors. You know what I'm saying? But I'm hopeful because I would definitely like to see that story.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough.
But there's I know there's actors out there that could do it if they come in, and that's a lot of things. You know, you got good actors, you know, they really know their shit. You know what I'm saying? They do. They know there's good actors out there. It's just finding the right one that's willing to play the part. And that's a lot of it too, because, you know, a lot of people don't want to be in the Star Wars universe, or they don't want to be in the Marvel universe. They just, as actors, they don't want to put themselves into that category. You know, and that's understandable. I can't be mad at an actor for saying I don't want to be in a Disney product. You know, for whatever Disney has done to them in the past, or from whatever Disney has done to their actors, that we don't know what happens behind the scenes. But there's a lot of actors out there that do not want to be a part of a Disney product. So, and that's Marvel and Lucasfilms and a lot of that stuff. So it's there might be a perfect candidate, and he might be like, no, I don't want to do that. It's all going to be, you have to put your heart and soul into playing your part. The reason that there's actors out there like, you know, Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington and, you know, there's too many to name off, but, you know what I'm saying, these are great actors because they make you believe that that's who they are. You know what I'm saying? They're that good that you believe that character is actually who that person is. That's how good that they are at acting. And they got to get somebody like that to play him. As long as they find somebody to play him that's like that, that's going to put their whole heart and soul into it and become that character, then we'll have a good spin-off of that, or whatever they decide to do with it. But I know there's a lot of fans that want to see that being made. Whether they do it or not, we can only wait and see. But that's one of the most intriguing things that's came out in Star Wars in a very long time, is who this character is, where is he from, what does he do, what is he actually looking for, what does he mean by the things that he says. You know, they did a good job, and it just sucks that Ray Stevenson had to pass away, and we might not ever get that.
All right. So as far as Lord of the Rings goes, I think
Star Wars is better.
I think Star Wars has, like, for me, has more good, but also has way more bad. Lord of the Rings is a little bit more consistent for me.
Oh, fuck no. Star Wars is way better than Lord of the Rings. I'll wipe my ass with Lord of the Rings.
Bro, no. I think Lord of the... Well, one thing I will say is that Lord of the Rings, whenever they made it, they at least tried to make a good show. Star Wars, you can tell, it's pretty obvious that some shows were purely about making money rather than making a good show.
If I never seen Lord of the Rings again, it wouldn't hurt my feelings at all.
Are you kidding me?
If I never watched Lord of the Rings, I watched it twice. If I never see it again, it's all right. Same thing with The Hobbit. I watched it twice. If I never see it again, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. If I never seen Star Wars again, that would hurt my feelings. That would fucking be like, I might as well die right now if I can't watch Star Wars again. If somebody said you can never watch Star Wars again, I might as well be dead. Like, and Lord of the Rings, I watched it twice. I don't need to watch it again. Like, if it comes on TV and there ain't nothing else on, I'd probably watch that. But if there's anything else on, I'm probably turning it to whatever else there is. But Star Wars, no, fuck no. Star Wars comes on TV, I'm watching Star Wars. Like, every time. My wife hates it because she's like, why don't you ever want to watch anything else? Like, why? Watch Star Wars. Star Wars has everything. It has everything that you would need in anything that you watch. It has it. It's there. Got hope. Got love. Got comedy. It has everything in it. You don't need to watch anything else. There's nothing that's ever been created that holds up to Star Wars. Nothing. Star Wars team leader said they're both great in their own way, and they are. Yeah. Like I said, I like the Lord of the Rings. It's just like it wouldn't hurt my feelings if I never seen it again.
If Disney ever gets their hands on Lord of the Rings, it's fucked.
Oh, they'll fuck it up. They'll figure out a way to fuck it up. They're good at doing that. And you know, and that's what a lot of people need to understand. It's not Star Wars fans are toxic.
It's Disney.
There's two different sets of Star Wars fans. There's the Disney Star Wars fans, and then there's the real Star Wars fans, and the Disney Star Wars fans are wrong. That's just what it is to it. Not to say that I don't like Disney Star Wars. I like all the Star Wars, but the people that are just like all the Disney Star Wars is the greatest shit, you're just wrong. No, fuck no. Like Disney messed up more than they fixed. But we'll have to see how things go in the future. And hopefully Bob Iger comes in there and fixes some shit, or they get somebody else in there that runs the shit the correct way. And like get out of this fucking Me Too fucking shit and all this other shit, to get away from all that shit. Just fucking make good content. Just make good content. Make good stories. And quit trying to fucking fill in gaps and shit that George Lucas didn't ever want to fill in. Because if he wanted them filled in, he would have done it. He didn't care. He didn't want that shit. He wanted us to have the speculation and the and I'll be done with Disney if they ever tell us where Yoda came from. I'm gonna be fucking highly upset because I like to think about where Yoda came.
I want to ask what would Disney have to do to make you honestly stop watching Star Wars?
Make a Yoda origin story.
Really?
Yeah, I would. That's it. That's all. I don't think that they should
You'd
ever.
Forgive anything else except.
I will forgive anything else except that. Like that is something that we should not ever know the answer to. There's a reason that George didn't want to tell that story. And I think that there's a reason that I like to be able to have my own imagination and my own guesses about where that comes from. I don't want to know the answer to that shit. Do not make a Yoda origin story. I don't want to know where Yoda's home planet is at. I don't want to know none of that stuff. I like to be able to use my own imagination to come up with my own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And if they make a fucking origin story about Yoda, it's going to piss me off. You can make a Yoda story, like back from when he started his training and all that shit, but I don't want to know where he came from. I think that's that's the mystery that should always be there. Where did Yoda come from? I think that's the one thing that would fucking I'll never stop watching Star Wars, but I think that would be the one thing that would piss me off the most if they did that. Like, I don't want to know that answer. I don't want to know. You can explain the Force. You can explain fucking everything else. You can create some whole new shit, but do not explain where Yoda came from. If you do that, you're going to ruin Star Wars for so many people, because that is the one thing that we have never had answered, and most of us don't want to have it answered. Most of the people that I've ever talked to said they don't want that answered. They like the mysteriousness of not knowing where Yoda came from. They like that. And I think there's some stuff that shouldn't be just answered. I really do. I think there's some questions within the Star Wars universe that's the reason it makes it so good, because these questions will never be answered. They allow us to use our imagination. They allow us to think for ourselves. George just didn't want us to take everything exactly what he wanted us to think for ourselves, come up with our own conclusions. Use our imaginations. That's what makes Star Wars so good, because there's so many options, there's so many opportunities for you to use your own imagination on what happened. It's like leaving from Bespin. Like when they pick up Luke, when Leia and them pick up Luke and leave from Bespin in the Millennium Falcon, and it just swipes screens. And we don't see, but we know that at one point there was like fucking 3 TIE fighters chasing them. Like, what happened? Did they blow him up? What did they do? Like, how did they just get to the fucking barge where Luke's getting his hand put on? I like to imagine what happened right there. I don't want nobody to tell that part. I want to imagine what happened. I want to imagine fucking Chewie fucking flying dope as shit, and fucking Leia shooting and fucking keep blowing up the fucking things, and them getting away, and there's a Star Destroyer out in space, and they got to fucking do some crazy shit to get around. I want to imagine that. You don't need to tell me that. And I think that's one of the worst things that Disney has been trying to do. They're trying to tell us stories that we don't really want the answers to. I like to be able to imagine what happened after this certain point. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of reasons that George Lucas swiped screens and fucking jumped to different parts and left them things open so you could use your imagination and you could create your own idea of what happened at that point. And that's what makes it so much better than a lot of other things. That's what makes it better than fucking Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings answers everything. I don't have to use my imagination. Everything just is done. They show you every fucking thing. That's why they're fucking 12 hours damn long. Because they show you every fucking thing. I don't want to know everything. I want to be able to use my imagination and come up with my own conclusions. How did they get from here to there? What happened from here to there? You know what I'm saying? What could they have done? That's what makes it fun. That's what makes me be more creative when I have to think of things. That's what makes me create my own story in my own head of what happened. And when you just show everything, there's no answers. There's no imagination. I don't need to work at nothing. I don't need to be creative. I don't need to use my imagination. And one of the biggest things that movies have gone away from, and that's a lot of movies that come out, they just show you every fucking thing. They'll fucking show you everything that happens in a 2-hour fucking movie. Like, I don't want to know everything. Can I imagine some shit my damn self? Can I figure some things out my damn self? I don't want to know everything. And that's one of the biggest problems. That's why I don't like a lot of the new movies that come out, because I watch them and there's no imagination there. They show you fucking everything. They explain every fucking... Quit explaining every fucking thing. Jaws. There was parts that you had to imagine. That's what made it good. There was a part that you had to imagine. Where did the shark go? Is he just swimming around underneath him? Did he swim away? How long are they going to be safe for? That's what made old directors and old writers good. Is because they wrote and they allowed you to use your imagination. And it makes you feel like a kid again when you got to use your imagination. It sucks. Life sucks. We go to work all day. We work our asses off. We get a little bit of money. We got to pay bills. We got to do all this fucking shit that it has to do with being an adult. Because we don't have a chance to use our imagination. Movies are supposed to give us that. It's supposed to give us the time that we can use our own imagination to come up with different ideas, to come up with different thoughts. That's what it takes you away from the real life, is using your imagination. Right. It's just like I told somebody the other day. I said, you know what? You know why there's so much crime in the world right now? Because young people are not scared to go to prison. They're scared to grow up. They're scared to become an adult and have to pay rent, and have to pay bills, and have to do all that. That's what they're scared of. They're not scared of that. They go from their mommy taking care of them to going to prison and the prison taking care of them. They get 3 hots in a cot. They don't have to work. They don't have to worry about nothing. I've talked to some of these young people and it's like, dude, they're not scared to go to jail. I'm like, for what? Fuck, man, it's like a vacation. You go there, I get to work out every fucking day, watch TV, fucking draw, fucking do all the shit that they do now. They get a cell phone in there now. They can call people whenever they want. Man, this shit is not fucking, you know what I'm saying? That's why crime, because the penalties are not as scary as real life to these kids. These young people are not scared of going to prison because life is more scary. Being an adult is more scary than going to prison. Especially all their friends is there. You know what I'm saying? like a fucking high school reunion and shit.
I mean, I think there's more to it than that, but yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree that like they're not scared to go to prison.
And that's the same thing with movies. You know what I'm saying? Movies, they're taking away our ability to imagine. They're taking away our ability. They're just giving us everything. So why do we have to work for anything? They're just giving it to you. Here you go.
Right.
Here goes all the answers. Here, the explanation for everything. No, I want to use my imagination. I want to be scared. I want to be, you know what I'm saying, upset. I want to laugh. I want to feel these things. If you go to the Sway Instagram, every day on my story, I've tried to put something funny on there and be like, in a quote that has to do with laughing, because laughing is important. Imagining is important. These things are important. They're important for your soul. They're important for health. These things are important. And when these movies and stuff, just here you go, and they just give you everything, like that's not as much fun. Like movies used to be on average an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. Now you go to the movies, fucking movie 3 hours long.
9 hours.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and they tell you everything. I don't want that. I want to be surprised. I want to have things that I don't know so I can think about it. That's what makes Star Wars different than like Lord of the Rings or, you know, somebody, even with George going back and doing the extended versions of them, they still there's a lot of stuff that you don't know, and you get
There's
to
a
use
lot
your
of-
imagination.
Yeah.
That's why, you know what I'm saying, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi, like nobody really wanted to know that. Like, I mean, we kind of did, you know, we were excited to like, oh, that's cool that they're going to do that. But then they did it and it's like, dude, you didn't tell us nothing about Kenobi. You told us everything about Reva. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't even know who Reva was until you came out with this damn show.
See? Disney, bro. No. All right. Should we get into the Hall of Fame for this week?
Yeah,
Or
let's do
news
the
or
Hall of
what?
Fame.
Let's do the Hall of Fame. All right. So this week, I think we've been doing this for like 9 weeks now, Kyle.
Have we been doing it for that long?
Yeah, yeah. So we did the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will be week 10.
God damn, I didn't know we was doing it for that long yet.
No, I've been doing a good job. Well, yee. All right. First up today, we got another Legends character. This
Okay.
guy has quite an impressive resume, though. Where I don't know if many people will know him, but his resume is quite extensive. Done arguably more than any other Sith. Darth Vitiate. Kyle's favorite Sith. Well, up there.
Oh shit, that's hard. Because fame-wise, a lot of people don't know about him.
Yeah,
But-
that's the tough part. Like, if we're going on merit alone, I don't think anybody deserves it more than this dude.
But at the same time, like, he falls into the Palpatine fucking thing. You don't, like,
Oh
if you
my
go to
God.
Revan,
He
if
did
you go
a
to the
lot,
book
bro.
Revan where they talk about him the most, and they don't talk about him that much, he doesn't do shit. He just sits there and fucking waits for people to come in and fucking get killed. You know what I'm saying?
Everything, bro.
But he did destroy an entire planet. He fucking sucked the force out of everything on the entire planet, which is pretty fucking miraculous. He did kill his mom and his fucking stepdad when he was like 10.
Yeah, bro. This guy did. You can't say he didn't do anything.
He did a lot of shit, but I don't think his fame is up there enough. I don't think a lot of people know about him. So I don't
Because
think he
he's
can
like-
be in a Hall of
right.
Fame without no type of fame. Like, there's like very few people that know about Vitian. Like,
Yeah,
you're going to
because-
get more
because
off
he's
of
the-
fucking the people that know him, it's like Star Wars fans, but like the average Joe is going to have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, they know who Darth Vader is. They know who Luke Skywalker is. They have no idea who Darth Vitian is at all.
Because, yeah. If we saw like a movie of him or he was brought into like undisputed canon, then yeah.
Yeah, I think that I agree with Chris. Chris says if we knew a little bit more about him, I think he could be. And since he is mostly unknown besides a few things, I say no. And I agree with that. I agree. I don't think he gets in.
All right.
He's not famous enough. I mean, he's done a lot of shit. I mean, he was a fucking emperor, the entire Sith fucking thing for all of the Old Republic. But he doesn't really, nobody knows about him. Like, unless you're into Legends, you're not really going to know about him. It's not like Bane. Everybody knows who Bane is. Everybody knows who Revan is. Shit, fucking non-Star Wars fans know who Revan is. But they don't know who fucking Darth Vitian is.
Right. All right, so that's a no for him. Next one, I feel like this one will be pretty easy, but we're gonna do Crosshair.
Yeah, I'd say yes on Crosshair.
Really? He'll be
I
the
think-
only member of the Bad Batch if he gets in.
Just because Crosshair is the most fucking memorable character on the whole damn show. He's what made the show. 2 seasons, he made the show.
mean,
Both seasons.
Especially in this last season, because this last season wasn't that great, but he was great in it. Like all the episodes that had him in it were
But
good.
if we're going off of fame wise, if you don't know anything about the Bad Batch, and a lot of people don't watch the animated stuff, and if you ask anybody like going down the street, like you know who fucking Crosshair is, they're gonna be like fucking no. Like a lot of Star Wars fans don't even know who Crosshair is. Like, cause I don't think he's I think he needs more. That's hard.
I
Because
say
like
no to Crosshair. I don't think he's famous enough. I don't
think he's famous enough either. And there's a lot of episodes that don't even have him in the fucking episode.
right.
Like he has like dedicated episodes to like just him, but there's a lot of episodes that he's not even in.
right.
So like, and even if you're a fan and you watch the show, like without him having, I mean, you're going to know who he is, but if you're not going to have no idea who he is. And then like what has he done for fucking 2 seasons? Fail? Or is he gonna be famous for failing? Because he hasn't fucking caught the Bad Batch yet. You know what I'm saying? So what
are you talking about? Voldemort? That's what he's famous for in Harry Potter, failing.
it's failing. Uh-huh. I want to say yes, but I'm gonna have to say no. I'm gonna have to say no. He needs more. He needs more screen time. The Bad Batch needs to get some live action going on. You know, a couple of characters get some live action shit. You know what I'm saying? Who would you get to play Crosshair?
Yeah. So who would I get to play Crosshair?
Yeah, in live action. If you could pick an actor to play Crosshair in live action, who do you think would play a good fucking?
Goddamn, I don't know.
Crosshair?
That's a great question. I got to think about that, to be honest with you.
I say, what's that one shit?
We'd have to have an episode where we like cast all the animated characters.
If I was, I would get, what's that? Assassin 47 or fucking Assassin 19? What the fuck is the name of that? Hitman. Hitman 47. Have you seen him? That dude that plays the Hitman. Yeah.
I don't think so, bro. Crosshair is like skinnier than that.
Well, fuck, they're all Crosshair is super skinny. You can't get nobody that skinny; they'll be dead. He looks like a skeleton on the fucking TV show. Fuck, they're all fucking fucked up looking.
You're kind of right.
But like that dude got to, I don't know. I think he'd play him. He got to look to be Crosshair, you know. But just imagine the thing around his eye and shit, the tattoo around his eye and shit. I think he could do it.
That's a great question, actually.
We
should have an episode where we cast like all these left.
All right, write that shit down so when we're trying to come up with an episode, we'll remember that shit. 'Cause every fucking week we're like, what are we going to talk about next week? I don't know. Fuck, what are we going to talk about? You know what I'm saying? Write that shit down. We probably came up with a million fucking great ideas and ain't done none of them. Christian Bale could do it. Yeah, I think Christian Bale could play a fucking good Crosshair. Christian Bale, he's just a good actor. I think he could play just about anything.
All right. Next up, so that's a no to Crosshair.
No to Crosshair. I think he needs more screen time.
We have the one responsible for the infamous Holdo remover, Admiral Holdo.
No.
No?
Fuck no. Man,
Bro.
She had 15 minutes of screen time in one movie. You know what I'm saying?
But she did the Holdo maneuver.
So what the fuck is that one thing? You know what I'm saying that she did? It was spectacular.
But that thing's pretty like controversial. That's a pretty.
That
big
shit was
deal.
stupid. That bitch, you can't fly no fucking ship to another ship. The fucking everything is gonna blow up. And fucking Snoke's ship didn't even blow up. It just cut in half. That shit ain't gonna happen.
Maybe
that
not Hall of Fame, but Hall of Infamy.
Like she didn't have enough screen time. She's not in anything else really. I mean, I think she's maybe one time they bring her up in fucking in Clone Wars at one point or in Rebels at one point. I think she has an episode that they talk about her, or they meet her or some shit like that. But she's not famous enough. I don't think she's famous enough. I think she needs more screen time, which she's never gonna get. So because now she's dead.
I vote yes.
No, fuck no. She don't get it.
Bro, Christian Bale to play Crosshair. Chris, that's a good
That's what I said earlier. When Chris first said it, I said that.
Oh, I didn't.
Christian Bale could play Crosshair, and Christian Bale can be like on Thor and the Love and Thunder fucking
Christian
thing. He
Bale
could fucking
play almost anything.
lose fucking all the weight in his entire body and look like a skeleton. He'd be perfect.
Christian Bale can play almost anybody, though.
Christian Bale's a great actor.
He is. All right, so that's a no to Holdo, which, come on, guys. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
next one, this guy, when we saw him, was on fire. Literally. Uncle Owen. Does Uncle Owen deserve it?
I'm going to have to say no. I want to say yes because a lot of people know, like, but they're not going to know him. They know him by Luke's uncle. You know, Luke's uncle, the one that was on fire. You know what I'm saying? But that's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not famous. He's more famous because he's the uncle of somebody that is famous. Even with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and even with the, you know what I'm saying, him dying in the fucking New Hope and shit like that, and the little shit he says in New Hope.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi series was kind of disappointing. Like, why did they cast him and then like barely have him in it?
It just, yeah, I don't think
Because that was a kind of big name actor for how much they used it.
Yeah. Well, we know Disney's good at that shit. Fuck. In Love and Thunder, they had Christian Bale play what's his face, and we seen him fucking 6 times in the whole movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? This dude should be way better than this. You got Christian Bale, and he's playing this guy. We barely even see him.
What a waste, honestly.
Yeah, it's just like fucking stupid.
Really depressing.
It's like, dude, you got one of the biggest actors in fucking movies nowadays, and you play him fucking. He gets
actors.
Fucking 10 minutes in the whole movie. Like, this is stupid. But yeah, I would have to say no on Uncle Owen.
Poor Uncle Owen got himself burned up for no reason.
No to the wife beater.
Go to the wife beater. Why is he a wife beater? Oh, Cillian Murphy could play Crosshair. I can see that. I think he's
Oh
a little.
no, I still think
old
that the Hitman dude would be the best dude. He looks like him.
I like that. Cillian Murphy is Crosshair. I could do that. All right, so that's a no. And then last but not least, everybody's favorite diner owner, Dex.
Well, Dex is a very fucking like he's a very
believable
compelling.
character.
Very compelling character, but I don't think anybody knows who he is. And he really didn't do shit. He just showed fucking Obi-Wan, told Obi-Wan about where the dark came from. Like he didn't really do nothing. I mean, he's in. The only thing would make me say, because he's in some of the books. They talk about Dex in some of the books.
Oh, do they? I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
they got Dex in several of the books. Master and Apprentice has Dex in there.
Oh, shit.
That's where Obi-Wan met Dex, is in Master and Apprentice. I'm pretty sure it's Master and Apprentice. But I don't think he doesn't have no fame. Like if you
agree.
show somebody a picture of fucking Dex and said, "Who is this?" They'd be like, "Fuck, I don't know, some fucking alien dude, some fucking crazy looking fat motherfucker with 4 arms." You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I'd probably say no to Dex too.
yeah, Dex is a no. I don't.
All right, so
He was in a lot of shows. He was, because he was in the Clone Wars.
If anybody
Was he in
looks like a
Rebels?
wife beater,
I can't remember if he's.
Dex is a wife beater.
I can't believe that he's in fucking Rebel. If he was in Rebels, he might have been in Rebels.
Am I the only one? Okay, remember?
But then he was only in the movie. What other TV shows? I think that's only 2. I think he was in Clone Wars and he was in the movie, and he's only in the movie for a very short period of time. It's not like, I know he's in the books. I'm trying to think. I can't
Am I
remember
the
any
only
other
one that
time.
thought Dex was going to turn evil? You know,
I
like
think
with
Dex
his
was-
laugh at the end. You know, I was like, that's kind of fishy.
Sounded like Jabba the Hutt laugh and shit.
Yeah. All right, so that's a noted Dex. That means we don't have a single inductee today.
There wasn't really that wasn't the fucking greatest. Like,
Thanks
I'm
a
trying
lot,
to think.
Carl.
I'm
All right.
trying to look at
You're not the
what
fucking
people have
greatest at
done.
doing this. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, he is in Legos. That's right, he is in Legos. Oh no, Dex might.
I don't think it. All right, let's say he is famous enough. What the fuck did he do?
Not really shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck? He made good milkshakes. I don't know. He made a great.
And he's
cup of
in the
Java
fucking.
juice.
Not only, and he's in the shop is in
You want a cup of Java juice?
what the fuck is that other one? The Star Wars parody fucking cartoon. What the fuck is the name of that shit? Why can't it's on the
Robot
tip of my
Chicken?
tongue? No, not Robot Chicken.
Family Guy. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
It's Star Wars. What is it? Star Wars. Here, hold up. I gotta look it up. I can't fucking. I'm not thinking of it for some reason. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but I can't get it out.
Bro, I don't know.
Where is it at?
Oh, is that the one that you post on your channel sometimes? The one that you
Yeah.
really like?
And it never came out. Like, it was never released, but
Right. I
but
don't
he's in
remember
that too.
either.
He's in that a lot. because they're in the diner a lot. Everybody's in the diner a lot. But if you are not a Star Wars fan and you never looked that up, you're not going to know what it is. Detours. That's right. Star Wars Detours.
Gotcha. All right.
His
That's
backstory is good.
either I'm running out of ideas or we're running out of characters.
Man, there's so many fucking characters that you haven't named off yet. Like, what about a fucking...
so?
Yeah, there's a shit ton. Man, look up like a Star Wars character list or something.
I do. Trust me. No, I'm just messing.
Like fucking a billion fucking Star
And if there's someone that you want me to bring up for the next Hall of Fame, let us know in the chat.
or
in the
on
comments.
in the comments. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's no new inductees today.
Okay, you want to get the news and rumors?
Yeah, let's do it. I will press.
This is Alton Castle for the only news you need, the HoloNet News.
All right. We got any news and rumors?
Bro, there's not a lot right now. There's something about like Mace Windu and Qui-Gon Jinn's last mission in an upcoming novel. So apparently there's going to be like an upcoming book or comic book like novel about Mace Windu. So Mace Windu fans should be happy. I think it's going to be called The Glass Abyss. But other than that, like I've seen a lot of stuff about that.
I've seen a lot of shit about Natalie Portman.
Oh yeah, I did see.
I guess she told. I guess she told told King fucking whatever the fuck his name is. That he was like, he basically asked if she was in Star Wars.
I also saw a rumor that the 4th season of Mando is going to be a movie.
Yeah, that's been going around though for a little bit of time now. There's been a lot of talk of that. They're basically trying to say that that's going to be the 4th season will be the the Dave Filoni movie is going to be technically the 4th season of.
I mean, I'd argue that's probably a better call. Just with how the
don't know.
last season went. That last season was not great.
I don't think, because this is the thing. I know it's a Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau project, but Jon Favreau's head over Mandalorian, so I don't think that they would integrate the two and just make a movie. And I think that with with Dave's new position, he's going to be working on a lot of other stuff, and he's going to be, if he is working on anything, I'd probably say it would be Ahsoka season 2. I just don't see it. There's too many gaps within the timelines to jump from where they're at right now within the Mandalorian, within
When has
Ahsoka,
Gap ever stopped Disney?
with Ahsoka and all that, for them to jump that much time in order to go straight into the movie that is supposed to. Movie is basically supposed to combine all the series together, except for Acolyte, because Acolyte's taken more into the
Wait, so it is combining Acolyte? No, Acolyte's
no, Acolyte's
Right.
like High Republic,
Acolyte's
Old
High
Republic era.
Yeah.
But all the and we haven't even got no season. We haven't even got anything from whatchamacallit. Oh man, why is my brain fucking Skeleton Crew yet? So we haven't even got anything from that yet. So it doesn't make any sense. And then if they waited that long, because Dave Filoni's film ain't supposed to come out to like 2031 now or something like that, because of the pushback, because of the writer strike, they're gonna really wait fucking 10, like, what is that, 8 years before they fucking finish with Mandalorian. They just gonna leave it right there, which they could, you know what I'm saying? Well, we know George made us wait fucking damn near 20 years to get some more Star Wars. So I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't believe that that's gonna happen. I think there's gonna be another. I think there'll probably be 2 more episodes or 2 more seasons of Mandalorian that they come out with. They'll probably wait a couple years, drop another season, wait a couple years, drop, and get us closer to that point. Drop
That's
another
fair.
season of Andor. We know that's coming. A couple seasons of Skeleton Crew. If Skeleton Crew does good, which I think it will, because it's going to be something new, fresh. And it's gonna. I think it's gonna attract more younger people. I don't know if I'll so much like it, just because it's based. It's more of a younger time frame. It's more about younger. It's like Stranger Things type fucking.
I hope so.
But
Not one I'm super excited for, but
yeah,
last time I wasn't excited for something, it ended up being really, really good.
Well, we know that Andor is coming out with another season. I'm pretty sure they're going to be. I'm pretty sure from the ratings that Ahsoka got, I'm pretty sure that they're going to come out with Ahsoka 2. At least another season of Ahsoka. We got Skeleton Crew, probably 1 or 2, because Andor really doesn't fall within the timeline. So that's not really part of it. But you got Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, and Mandalorian that are all supposed to go in, and it should lead up to Luke being older. Because I doubt they're coming out with a book of Boba Fett too, but I think they're gonna bring Luke into some of the other episodes, which we can see him coming to Ahsoka. We could see him in Skeleton Crew. So I think that they're gonna, because they got to lead with them up to Luke being older at the beginning of the First Order type area. So I see Luke being in there more. If they follow it, now they could change everything up. I mean, Bob Iger is talking about changing shit up and doing different stuff, but I think that that's what's going to probably happen when it comes to the live action TV shows. I
got you. Which is fair.
And I think Bad Batch is going to kind of tie into Andor at some point, because that's all happening within, that time fluctuation.
Maybe. But then I don't see them doing Andor animated, and Bad Batch would be really hard to bring to live action.
I don't think so. You just get the actors, a couple of the actors. I don't think that they'll bring the entire Bad Batch. They'll bring like 1 or 2 actors within the thing. But I think if they do show up, they're going to show up in Andor. They're going to put something else in between. You know what I'm saying? Something in between the Bad Batch and Andor. Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't feel that mark, and I kind of believe that they might do Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2, even though it didn't do good, because you got major actors that's part of the franchise within that time period. You know what I'm saying? They can be in there. So I think that they might do that. It might be a while before they do it. Things calm down a little bit more over the first one, but it still did good at ratings. That's the only thing. Just because we didn't like it, a lot of people did like it. It did do good at ratings. So, I think that they might still
maybe
they might still do something.
I don't think they'll do a new one.
If not, they got to do something else to feel, because everything's supposed to tie into a certain point. Everything that Disney has already stated that everything will tie in. So, do we get the Bad Batch? Did they make it past Empire Strikes? Return of the Jedi into this time period? Did they survive all the way that time? I don't believe that they did. I think they died before Andor, because why weren't they part of the rebellion or any of that stuff when you kind of see them? Are they going to pop up later? Which is possible that they just was they were just underground and just stayed hidden, and then they come back out in the next. But everything's supposed to tie in together. All that Disney stuff is supposed to tie in together. So we'll have to see. Now we know Andor can't really tie in because everybody dies in Rogue One. So we know Andor can't really tie in.
Well, it did tie in. That's how they got the Death Star plans.
But I think that everything's supposed to come to tie in to where it comes to the end. So we'll have to see how Disney does it. Let's see what else. There was something else that I seen on here that I wanted to talk about. There's a rumor that Vision's got green light for a season 3.
All right.
Which I don't think that that's a rumor. I think that that's going to happen.
I think that'll happen. Yeah. And I'd be excited for that. I'm down to watch some more Visions.
I think Visions has been pretty good. There's some episodes that I didn't like that just were too kiddie for me, but kids like it. So, You know what I'm saying? And then there's some...
It's hard for me to be mad at Visions, because a bad episode is just that. It's a bad episode. It's not part of Star Wars. It's just fun to think outside the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it's a good idea to let a lot of different people in. And it culturalizes Star Wars into a lot of different cultures because
Yeah.
they're letting a lot of different studios do the animations and do
Right.
the claymations and stuff like that. So it opens up the Star Wars universe to a broader
Right.
surrounding.
On top of that, I think it's a great way to brainstorm new ideas for like new Star Wars directions. You know what I mean? Like new shows, new things that Disney could give a try. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think it's a good idea. I'm all up for. The season 2 of Andor did get a pretty discouraging release date. I guess it's not coming out until the fall of 2024, so next fall. So it's like, dude, I don't know why they're waiting. I mean, they did that with the last one, and I think they should have learned from Mando when they took so long to release Mando. It was 18 months before they released Mando again, from season 2 to season 3, and now you're basically doing the same thing with Andor 2, and I think that it's too long of a time to wait between episodes. You're not building up anticipation at that point. You're just frustrating everybody, and then everybody's forgetting what even happened. And when it comes out, people jump right back into it, and they're like, "Oh, why am I watching this?" You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, it got to be like super duper good before, you know what I'm saying? I think they should push that time limit up, but I don't know what they've got done.
Yeah, I'm in between because, like, yeah, like waiting too long isn't a great idea, but at the same time, like, Andor was like a little bit tougher to make than like Book of Boba Fett or Mando. Like, Andor had a lot more thought put into it, a lot more thought out dialogue. It was a lot more complex.
Well,
than,
I would-
like Ahsoka.
I would
I could see
say
why-
that if they weren't trying to ram like a big chunk of time period, I mean, what is it, like every 3 episodes is like 4 years or some crazy shit like that?
Right.
That's what's making me think that they should release this sooner. I mean, it says late summer, early fall, but I still think that's too long because what Andor ended last year or the beginning of this year, right? When was the end of Andor? I can't remember.
Far out. I don't remember. It was released September 21st, 2022.
So it was last year. So it
It's
ended.
been a long time. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. It was what, 12 episodes, so that's 12 weeks, September. So yeah, it ended before the end of last year, and now it's not coming out for till 2024, summer or fall. So it's gonna be like 18 fucking months, 20 months, just depending on when they finally decide to release it. It just, that seems a little fucking outrageous there. You know, it's like, god damn, man.
Yeah.
And then there was one other thing that I had found. I had all these set up, and then I fucked around and closed my damn my search bar and lost everything. I knew there was. Brought up the book. There was an update on the Daisy Ridley movie, which we don't. That's not that important. It's still a while.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it, but
Bro, which is why I'm still surprised. Like, I'll go see it, but I don't know if I'd say like I'm excited to see it.
oh, and then I think we talked about this last time, but the holiday special. There's a documentary about the holiday special. I haven't watched it yet. I just haven't had time, but I heard that it's like it's very descriptive of why it was created the way that it was created.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of
I am
people have
excited
said
to watch that.
a lot of people said that that it's a like a lot of the critics says it's a must watch if you're a Star Wars fan. And then of course, once again, High Republic is crushing it in the books, the book market. The new book came out last month on the 24th, I think, and it's already like a New York Times bestseller. So definitely, if you have not got into the High Republic area, you should, because it's dope. I like it. some very good books that came out in the High Republic area. And then the rest of the stuff is, like I said, about Natalie Portman. There's a lot of news about Natalie Portman, and we know what that means. Whenever they start popping out a lot of stuff about a certain character, for some reason we see them again in some episode, which, I mean, I don't know how. She's not a Jedi, so she can't come back as a Force ghost. So other than being a flashback, maybe, I'm guessing that she could pop up in a flashback of something. That just makes me guess. Or I guess she could. No, she's dead by then. She can't even pop up in fucking. Like what can Natalie Portman play in other than a flashback in Star Wars? There's a lot of fucking, like, for like 4 days straight, it was like Natalie Portman everything on fucking Star Wars news.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a fucking gang.
I just saw something about like early in her career,
Like-
how like
Star Wars Natalie Portman open up talks. Star Wars Natalie Portman talks to King fucking Charles and Star Wars. It's just there's a Star Wars King Charles thoughts. Star Wars, you know what I'm saying? Natalie Portman talks about being in Star Wars again. Natalie Portman says she's open to being in Star Wars. I don't know. It's just like there's just a lot of shit. And you know, when every time something comes up, Natalie Portman reveals funny moments in Star Wars. You know, whenever they start talking about a character, remember how Daisy really happened? And then next thing you know, she had a whole new movie. Which she could show up in a fucking, well, that's gonna go back. That's gonna go in Rebel time period. I guess she could show up in Andor.
how?
No, she's dead. Yeah, that's right. She's dead. I don't know I don't know what the fuck they. I don't know what the hell she could be in other than a flashback. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a flashback or something. Maybe Ahsoka. She could show up as a flashback in Ahsoka, season 2.
I could see maybe a flashback.
Because her and Ahsoka were friends.
I can see that. A threesome with Anakin. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, we all wish. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's about it for the news. There wasn't that much news. Some outlaw news about things that need to do with, like, I don't even think anybody cares about the outlaw game.
Yeah. Oh, what was the news on the Outlaw game? That it's still gonna suck because it's not what we wanted.
Star Wars Outlaw needs to tread carefully with Kay Vess as the rebellion. Basically, it said unique offer takes the franchise by focus on regular people navigating the threat-filled worlds rather than Jedi and Sith.
Oh, gotcha.
We want Jedi and Sith in the
That's
fucking
what we
video. I don't
wanted.
even play
Yeah,
it.
you're fucking come on.
Like, I don't even play video games, and that's what I want to see. I don't give a shit about anything else. And I guess R2. Here was the other one. I guess R2D2 in Star Trek, the secret Star Wars cameo you may have missed twice.
I definitely.
I guess
missed that.
R2D2 was in the Star Trek movies twice. Like, I don't remember fucking, which I didn't watch the second one. I watched the first Star Trek, and I was like, all right, this shit is fucking, I don't want to watch this.
This is trash.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
not good.
Yeah, but we're in one of those Star Wars droughts right now. So
Yeah, but I don't give a fuck. It still ain't gonna make me want to watch Star Trek. Star Trek is boring. That shit. I've tried to watch Star
I
Trek.
won't
Like,
watch Star Trek.
yeah, that shit is fucking boring. And Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Like, have you watched the trailer for that shit?
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it.
Yeah, me too. I kind of want.
I think we should do a review on that.
Yeah, we should do it because
one
I
of
mean
our
it's not Star Wars, but it has fucking a gang of Star Wars references
Well, because
in
it
it.
was meant to be like Star Wars, so I think it fits in the podcast. I think we should talk about it.
I seen the preview, the trailer for it. I was like, dude, there's a lightsaber. What the fuck? Like, oh, I want to see this. I want to watch this. This look good. And Zack Snyder's known to do some good shit. So you know what I'm saying? The fucking Justice League his Justice League. Fuck, that shit is fucking amazing. Yeah. So that's all I have for news. And I'm sorry to tell all y'all I didn't do a fucking. I've been too busy this last week. I didn't get to the fucking quiz this week. I have a whole bunch of shit I got to get done at work and at home, so I wasn't unable to do a fucking quiz this week. So I guess we can have an episode without a quiz. It ain't gonna kill us.
No.
It ain't gonna kill y'all. If it's gonna kill y'all, let me know. It'll be I need to start making them in advance so when I get stuck in one of these situations, because I usually do it like the night before or the morning before the podcast. I'll just run through it and come up with the questions. But I just been so fucking busy. But I think if we can get I should probably do something in advance. Just have like, some questions in advance. I'll probably do that. I'll do it sometime next week. Yeah, or after the first of the year. I'm not saying next week because I'm about to be busy as shit. Oh, real quick, while we're just on how things are gonna be. What's gonna be the best day to do the fucking watch party? Because we gotta watch the.
Wait, let's look at the calendar. I can do.
We literally got the 17th. We got tomorrow, which I can't do it tomorrow. 17th, 24th, or 31st. We got 24th and 31st. Shit, that's just
Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah,
Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Probably the
That's
17th.
gonna be pretty. Yeah, probably the 17th. So not this weekend, but next weekend we'll do the watch party. So watch party on Rise of Skywalker, the most controversial fucking Star Wars
and then we'll
fucking
be done,
movie ever.
bro.
Yeah, we watched all 12 of the fucking movies this year. That's a lot. That's a lot. It was worth every second though. We should just do it again next year. And just every year. Just do it once a year. Like once a month, every year. Just watch all the movies.
Yeah. Keeps me in touch with Star Wars.
Especially because there ain't no new content coming out. Shit, we ain't got nothing except some fucking Jedi adventures. And I like fucking Jedi adventures, young Jedi adventures, but fuck, man, there's only so many times you can watch fucking little kid with fucking TV shows. You know what I'm saying? I watch them with my granddaughter. She likes them, and I watch them. But I'm like, fuck, I want to watch some new Star Wars. I want some new Star Wars shit to come out. Which I've been, just to let everybody know real quick, starting not this next season of fucking the Sway podcast, but the season after next, because next season we're doing Annihilation, which is the last book of the Old Republic. Then we're going into the High Republic. We're going to do the High Republic books. I got the okay to do the High Republic books. So we're going to be reading the High Republic books. So that's going to be awesome. Everybody can see what the hell I'm talking about with some of these books. The fucking some of the High Republic books is fucking really good. Some of them are like, what the fuck? There's one book. I don't know how we're going to do this. I got to fucking hire a lot of people because they're fucking, it's like, and we got to figure out a way to do it better because, like, dude, listening to that book, there's like 20 actors talking at the same fucking time. Like, shut the fuck up, I can't hear who's saying what. Like,
you're going to have like different people doing different voices, I feel like.
In that book, definitely. I'm going to have to get some different people to read the book, but we'll have to see. But I did get the okay that we can do the book, so. And I'm just now trying to figure out, am I going to go in order? Because, the High Republic came out like the actual, like Star Wars did. They started in the middle, then they went back, and now they're going back to this. So it went original, prequel, sequel. That's how the High Republic went. So I'm trying to figure out if that's the way I'm going to do it. Just do it by release date, like when the books were released, or am I going to just follow the story all the way up? But I just don't know if because how fast the seasons are now, I don't know if we'll run out of time before the next books come out, because some of the next books don't come out until 2025. So, which there is quite a few books. So, but I haven't decided on how yet we're doing it. Well, I'll have to see. But I'm trying to put out, some more content that people can listen to, and we could probably even talk about on here a little bit of the High Republic, because I know you'll listen to the podcast, and then you'll have some shit to talk about. Talk about the High Republic. All right. Because you'll listen to the other podcasts. Yeah. It's just hard, man. That shit costs a lot, man. Fucking buying new audio books, even if you got an Audible subscription, man, it's still, you only get fucking so many credits a month. It's hard to listen to every book. So it is what it is. We'll see. But anyway, that's what's coming out on Sway. And then next week we'll do that. Next weekend, next Saturday, Sunday, we'll do the fucking the watch party. And then we'll talk about, what are we going to talk about? What show topic did we just come up with? Then you just write it down. We should do that show.
For this next week, the animated recasts.
Yeah, recasting the animated series. Like if we could recast them in live action. That's a good
then
topic.
On the 23rd, we can do like a Christmas themed one, and the 30th, I say just a look on the next year of Star Wars.
Yeah, we could do that. That sounds like a good fucking thing. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? You guys think we should do that? That's to be the next 3 episodes? Okay, that's what we're going to do. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. I got a whole bunch of shit to do. So we love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace. May the force be with you always, and stay outrageous.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. Lightsaber Radio is produced by Pickfilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcott, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.